This day 719 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. We would like to sponsor upcoming shir or more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Please tell me directly. It would be very greatly appreciated. Today we are doing Simen Taf Mem Zayin, Sif Chaf to Chavav. Chaf. V'dasha b'd Rabbeinu Ramah b'yordes mikuv ches. Yichriya the makom hefsi yish makom b'klim b'reach chametz. The Ramah Baskins are going to be lenient in a case where there is a significant loss in terms of the fragrance of chametz. Mishnah says, "Welcome hefsed merubah." Klamar, I feel the time to cut the megula, meaning even if it's an open oven and it's a small oven, and the foods, the chametz and the matzah are open. Only those say dafka basua ktsas makom shashan yotzei. Some say only if it's a little bit open, we're a place where the smoke goes out, so it's exhaust. If it's completely closed up, it's clarified there that even other yisurim should not be near unless it's a makam hefseid. That's the place there's a loss. So chametz even if there's a loss, it really also if it's completely closed up. That's makam havram. That's when you're roasting in the oven without a vessel. If you're cooking, I feel like there megula, even the pot is open, mutar, it's missile. Levad ba chulun shel Shabbos, except chulun, because shanrein b'chus sheyesh boreach because we see that the insulation shows us that it has a strong fragrance. Yesh b'kilim b'chol zeh, those who lean concerning all of this. B'chodesh and Chok Yaakov. Mishmur writes, most of the Kohanim agree that have some merubah or shas al chak, such as for Yom Simchas Yontif, you can be make up with the oven in a roast, even if the oven is small and closed in its totality, like other yisurim, and certainly by chulent, which is put aside in insulation for Shabbos, you can be lenient with in a place with substantial loss. So obviously that's like the Arukh HaShulchan Yesh Mekilim B'chol Zeh. It's interesting that something which is chuchon, which is insulated, not on the fire, it seems to be an issue of reich. Once they closed up the oven on Pesach with the board, they used to close it the entire year when there was chametz inside. They allowed the things cooked inside. Became the kolikar suffix berecha himumashu kapanim milav, and since there's the whole question is a suffix about fragrance, if it has some substance to it or not. Then as the Raya Brum Shabbos, as Arukh HaShulchan says, there's a clear cut evidence from Shabbos Samach base. The Reicha will have a feeling mashu v'kumishenu. That a fragrance is nothing. It's not even a mashu. In brackets he explains. Omer Shimon says that ava ein bohem bosem chayavas al keli. If there's no fragrance, if there's no perfume in a vessel which is intended for a perfume, then you're liable for carrying out the vessel. So we see if somebody takes up food which is less than share, it can still be chayav on the vessel. So aim bosem when there has no perfume in it, it's like it has less than a share. Although there is fragrance, compares Rashi. Rav Hashi says shani. No, that's different because there is no reach is not considered. In other words, a little bit of food it makes it worse because doing it for the food, but the food is not a shear. But if there's no perfume, there's only fragrance. The fragrance is nothing. So the male you're chayav on the keli. The reach ain't bo mamish ayin shem barashi, right? There ain't no klum. So you see that fragrance is nothing. It's a sharp fragrance. Yesh le'asor, we should forbid. We should be forbid the things which is cooked with it. Shamatzu dar b'charif. I guess when the matzah is sharp, it tends to extract more fragrance. Much because of Chok Yaakov Sham, like Chok Yaakov writes. The Sharatzion says that dar b'charif, something sharp, is when most of the cooked dish is sharp. Back to Arukh HaShulchan, Chodesh Meiko Gam B'zeh. Chodesh also in this respect. Kuli Seru. No, it's too big a kula. Davar Chali Vadi Boleh. If it's something sharp, it definitely absorbs. Yisur davar charif mutar, but only if the heter is charif, the matzah is charif. But if the isur is charif, the chametz in this case, mutar, that's okay. Because of the Chok Yaakov writes, because it's the sharpness allows the absorption. It doesn't promote the dissipation. And Sharatzin says, "Run your there paskins." That is no same thing with the isur is charif. So that facilitates this. What's the word is it for? Dissipation, word of the fragrance, as opposed to the Chok Yaakov and Kor Chaim would say it's specifically if the heter is charif. And Arukh HaShulchan obviously is also machmir. He says, I'm sorry, no. The Ramah is machmir. Chok Yaakov, Kor Yaakov, Kor Chaim are meko. It's only if the heter is the double charif. And Arukh HaShulchan says that the heter is double charif. He doesn't say when it's charif. He says the heter is charif. It's problem. Yeah. The chametz is double charif. Kamo borscht, kamo shkas among Avraham Sham. Double charif by chametz is something like borscht, which I guess has a lot of onions. Anyway, doesn't matter since this is double charif. It doesn't. It's not going to ask for the matzah. Chaf out. The inyan in time of gam. In terms of where it gives an off taste. Yagankin Yeshdeos, also various opinions. Rabbi Nabi says, Yud Kosav, that's the time of Gam Butagam and Pesach. It's an off taste, it's Mutter also on Pesach. Rabbi Rama Kosav, Yesh Machmir. Rama says there's some more Machmir, Chinogim Elam Dinos. That's custom in these countries. In Makom, Sheesh Minag Lachmir, places there's custom to be Machmir. I feel noticing time of Gam or Mashu. Also, even if it's no time, it gives an off taste, and it's a Mashu, it's still awesome. Mr. Burr says, in terms of Hana, to sell to a non-Jew, you can be Mako. So it's both a Mashu and it's also Lesin Tamuka. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. If it's I guess it's only if it's only Recha, it's mutter. That's what he's saying. Now, if it's Vas, it means added. It's a strange language. I think it's only Recha. The Makom Shem Minag, a place where there is a Minag, make them listen to time for Gam. We've seen, if you leave a place the time of Gam, you do not lose. Mishabur says, a Machmir Davila Bracha. Machmir, you're praiseworthy. If I feel Pachas Mishishim Mutter, even less than 60, it's Mutter, but no time of Gam. The Chenik that has the primary Locha. The feast on Bashal Pesach B'chli Chametz, so somebody cooks in Chametz, cooks on Pesach. Chametz vessel, She'ena Ben Yomo, which is not more, it has to use 24 hours, Mutter Tavshikam of Sharisu. The cooked dish is mutter, just like if it was cooked in a non-kosher pot after 24 hours. The kom ain't came rock only below the can't pass this way for a poor person, only for a rich person. For a person wait for a rich person, you should have more pots, only for a poor person. But there if it's a pot which is already not used for 12 months, you can permit it also for a rich person. For pag time orecho, its taste and fragrance have already dissipated. Over Erev Pesach achar chatzot, dissipated means that it goes away. It was dissipated before, and then probably dispersed. Okay, you got the point. Erev Pesach achar chatzos chom becomes mutter. Erev Pesach chatzos, it's not a Pesach, it's mutter everywhere as well. And Mishabur says also that it's even less than 60. Also the chametz is completely ruined. Until the point that it's the dirt. Shita shein klun gam Pesach atzmo, it's not a problem even on Pesach itself. Mishabur says it's possible even if it became ruined after the time it became prohibited, where it's also banah because there was some time when it was prohibited and was Pesach. Nevertheless, it wouldn't answer a mixture. Chametz nuksha yeshu in the bottom of shishim. Chametz where the process was arrested. Some say it's bottom of shishim, and Rayim Simon tough sound base if yud. Mishnah Berurah says on this that you can rely on the Shas of Chak that it's that Chametz nuksha is bottom of shishim. Chabes v'chein Taroibes, Yavish, Yavish. Also a mixture, a dry mixture. You put the Ravasa, there's Maglis, between the great Poiskim. A rip is out, Bishli, Kochavim, the riff at the end of a Zor Pasak. It's not the end of a Zor, I don't know. I mean, the end of a Zor talks about Bittul, so the Zayin is the Dape riff here. Anyway, Pasak also remashing Mo Balach Balach. He says that it's also the shiras and mashu, just like by a liquor mixture. Davka b'shari yisurim barat barov, even by other yisurim. Yavish is bata barov. Don't need shishim. Kshena chatiru is skabet, where it's not a piece which is significant and suitable to give to guests, or dabashimini, or something which is always counted as opposed to estimated. In which case it's not bottle even 1,000, and there's no difference. And I skipped. Davashimini. Zel be suri no say time below be suri mashu. This is what we're talking about an isser of but by other isurim where it is since it's based on nos nisinas tam and not mashu. Therefore, they can be bata barov. But here, it's even if it's not bata, because here it's an iser mashu. Moshe adds, it's pasha, iser mashu doesn't matter if it's got mixed up in its own type or a different type. Ben mino, ben sheino mino. But that's actually Rosh Vatur, the bata broke is shari sur. No, they all have some dry mixture. It is bata like other prohibitions. Lafka lach belach. Only by moist mixtures. The Bishari Yisurim, where concerning other prohibitions, also in the Sitam, it's also when it gives a taste, also becomes mashu, by chametz, it's also bar mashu. I mean a bit of barov, in terms of bit of barov, if it's not, if it's just a dry mixture, in chiluk, it's nibato in a simple majority. Rashi says, I have to send, throw into the river, the something corresponding to the size of the chametz, so you shouldn't have enough from the chametz. Rosh Chaluk was a Rosh Ar, is a Kumosh Kasavatur, like the Torah recites him. Rimu Kfar, I'm sorry, Rimu Kikar Shalom, if it's a whole loaf, Vadailo, but Til of Hilim Shari Surim. It's not bothered even by other Surim, which is Savno, because it's a Chatichur Yilis Gabi. And Shari Surim says, even got mixed in 4 Pesach. Now, so the Maisak Das Rif, the poskim are Machmir like the Rif, that it's a Mashu, is whether it's Lach Balach or Yavish B'Yavish. The Halacha writes, like I said before, that they can sell the mixture to a guy, besides for the value of the prohibition therein. Back to Arukh HaShulchan, and Pesach it's heavy butter barov, and Yavish you can eat it until nightfall. Says that it's min b'mino. You can't discern the taste of the chametz. If it's she'eno mino, then even by other story you need shishim, because it's if you cook them together, it's going to give a taste. So therefore, also by chametz obviously in our Pesach, so it's a situation we need shishim. Inava echamem lenar, when it fell into the river, mutar ber Pesach filu kikar shalim, and we say tolin, and we assume that it's the whole loaf, the loaf of Isser fell into the river. Chav Gimel, Kfani is Barab Sifu Gimel. We already explained it to Gimel, the honor of swing, I'm Klishani. That's us both. At least on Pesach, we ask her even a Klishani if it is the heat of Yatzal Esbo. Fabadav Allah Kamayim, essentially something which is moist like water. Of course, can be able to Rishon. And certainly, he goes asked by Klishani, we certainly ask her when pouring from Klishon. Have a beer klisheni and achmir cloud, but if it's poured from a klisheni, you don't need machmir at all. Koshkin shein and achmir, but tell us you klishlishi. It's certainly not the machmir in the plate, which is a klishlishi. And then kshinichol le basar or teach. I believe Muhammad says if you put on the plate hot meat, boiling meat, which has absorbed chametz yesh lachmir, then you should be machmir and the plate ask for the plate. For example, you're there simin tzagdal. The davar gushlam have a klishon. Something which is solid is always like Rishon. They should machzik chum higher because it holds the heat to a large extent. Even though you're there, those who leave, become chametz vade osir, the chametz one has to be machmer. The bracket says here, mashkosam magen avroa, mesiven shin ches, sheish manishin vashim, misvashim l'sheni, certainly he was cooking l'sheni, and Shabbos, lo yadati yesh because they're chametz. I don't know if that's true by chametz. So therefore it's not necessarily learned out from Shabbos. Chem mashkosam sham, the bus of the east bay bekoim, that meat which has cracks, also if you would sign it, it's also even if it got mixed in with the chametz in cold, because you're there, so semen tzaddik alf, lo yadati gankim shayach zel chametz. If it has cracks in the meat, that's not necessarily a chametz halacha. It's true about the rest of the prohibitions as well. Chavtal, kasar beit Beis Yosef b'siv hey. Beis Yosef writes, Basi yavish vina dogim. If you have dry meat and cheese and fish, even they were sold before Pesach, even though you weren't careful to safeguard them, mutar lachem Pesach, not even Pesach. Mil dogim meluchim, but salted fish, hashrim b'mayim b'Pesach, which are being soaked in water on Pesach, in a chametz stick a vessel. Yesh lachmi l'zor mehem. Should be makar not to partake in them. They should be in Pesach, me please us again, because they absorb Pesach from the taste which emerges from the walls of the vessels. Chametz and Pesach mashu. If it's a mashu, chametz and Pesach is also mashu. I can't show. In court for the Beis Yosef. Period for it means to say the mitzachim michul kana Pesach. In terms of the fact that they were sold before Pesach, v'lonis before melach mechametz, and they didn't check out if there was any chametz in the salt. Laish v'imperu chametz, and perhaps there's chametz in among the salt granules. There's no concern about this, even not as it's chumrah. It was saying this is true according to those who hold that if it's both before Pesach cannot become awakened again on Pesach. That's the primary perspective of halacha. I feel that even though all the chayes of air does wake up again, since we know for a fact that there were chametz particles there. We don't know about that here. We don't assume that there's a prohibition involved unless we have evidence to that effect. In brackets, he says here, things that have Shem Rashi, the time is battle Pesach, because it's battle before Pesach, so they know Manir. It doesn't get awakened again. That's what he's talking about. Ayin Shom. See there. But we explained there, even according to being that normally would say gets reawakened, it's mutter. Okay, came in that Beis Yosef, if not, the Beis Yosef, who brings this opinion of Chayzev in there, should have said, according to that opinion, it's also. The must be like we wrote there, that even according to the opinion of Chayzev in there, it doesn't apply here. Because what Arukh HaShulchan said back then, it says this was bought when it was hit there. It's not Chosem in there for it to be an Isser. It also says that's the intent of the task. Salted fish in water in a chametz vessel on Pesach. The sounds like quite strictly be permitted, but it's appropriate to be machmir. Emaskenu says the truth is like that. Mishbura Sharatzion says that this is talking about herring because it's very salted. But it was machmir even by other salted fish. Back to Arukh HaShulchan, I forgot that kli who shall chametz, even though the vessel of chametz come in a ben yoima. It's more than 24 hours from its last use. Some kelim because we assume most kelim will not be used for 24 hours. Kosh kelim danashin ben yoima. Certainly, if we know it has been used past 24 hours. We saw the Beis Yosef Paskins. There's in time for Gam Mutter. It's enough taste, it's Mutter. Because I receive Chaf out. Nevertheless, you have to be Machmer, Dulai, Dogim, Luchim, Avakadav, Charev. Perhaps a herring, salted fish, is like a sharp substance. I feel Ena Ben Yomo also, even the pot is not Ben Yomo, it enhances the taste and makes it, no same time with Shvach, makes it a good taste. Of Shar, it's possible, Kim, the Mayim, Balin, Koach, Tzir, Lav, Klumu. It's possible that the water, I guess, is the other side, the flip side, because the water cancels the power of the brine, so there's no issue whatsoever. So those which were soaked on Pesach itself, chashash of chametz on Pesach, yesh lachmir shbi machmir. But they were soaked in before Pesach, ain't lachmir klal. We don't have to be machmir all. My nechush, what should be concerned? What should be concerned about? If it's because it's something sharp, it's here, because the brine is sharp. Hello, by mine, battling koach, it's here. Water negates the effect of the brine. Because it was soaked for 24 hours, half a coverage, it's like it was pickled there. The coverage of pickle is like cooked. It's not ben yomo, so therefore you're just soaking in no time of gone. Furthermore, the Chum is manu hetu before its time. It is mutter l'shai be kavush kavusha. Again, you did before Pesach, so then it was the shas heter, so you can't say kavush kavusha when at the time that it's heter. That's soaked, it's like cook. Can't say it. It's said by Isser, not by heter. Chain sheshuyim in Pesach shlobekli chometz. Also, if it's soaked on Pesach, but non chometz vessel gamkin in lachmir. Shdoim machir time shema. You should be concerned, perhaps. Yeshim pure chametz, maybe there are chametz particles there. Most times as he will previously. Mishmur says that all this chashash about the tzir, even on Pesach, is only chatchila. Shatzir says in Prima sounds out that even the kli is ben yomo, within past 24 hours it absorbs chametz, and even by herring, the avid you can be makel. Because he's contradicting himself when the Mishnah says zahav. In any matter, if it's not ben yomo, you can be makel with the avid even with herring. Also, I see the Magen Avraham, who contends that herring are strong and are sharp and strong, and the water does not negate the power of their brine. Therefore, even if according to the Magen Avraham, even if they were soaked before Pesach in the chametz vessel, you be machmir l'chatchila not to eat. But it doesn't sound like Bishop Pur passed away l'maisa, what he just said before. Chafav Rabbeinu Makosav said yesh lokim machmirin. Those who are arguing they're machmir. Dino sehu ela minag lachmir. Shocking. It's the machmir l'chatchila shlochol gvinas l'dagim basi yavish, not to eat the cheese and the fish and the dry meat. If there's a chashash of chametz. I mean, dichol basi shosh b'nei korah Pesach, but if they rinse the meat 3 times for Pesach, no gulachol custom is to eat it. The kirka shows by intestines ema adacha. Rinsing doesn't help. If you know ein lashos tabachus hayaveshos. I have no idea what this means. I guess if you like dry kishka, you shouldn't put it into. There's chashash chametz. You shouldn't eat it because you can't rinse it properly. I'm not sure. But it's not a problem. I'm sure talk, but if you have you have liquid oil. We clean chametz and chametz vessel. It's hot. We heat it up. Chametz vessel also means it's usher, given the letter of the law. In Blaine, the chametz weren't concerned at the time that they made this fat. This liquefied fat, that's what it is, oil, liquefied fat, and they weren't concerned about chametz. And they weren't careful not to put it in a chametz vessel which is within 24 hours. And so do everything else which you cook in a chametz vessel, go yain musha, such as cooked wine, rekachas, or confection, chadoime, etc. Also a Pesach. I was doing Pesach. You have the background. But the end, last day Yosef, the Ramah speaking, you can remake it. And so too, if something of the food, mashu from these places got mixed up in the food, since you don't know there was a chametz, so you don't have to ask the mixture. But the Arukh HaShulchan still says, udvara speaking beer. We need those words require explanation, which we'll see next time we learn. See a lot of Mishnah Berurah coming up tomorrow.